Connor Frisch. I work at Electrical. I am the vac truck operator, and right now we are hydrovacing in the western part of Wisconsin up here in Birchwood. We are drilling fiber optics. Our whole job right now is roughly about 30,000 feet. On a good day, we're getting probably 1,000 feet of drill, but obviously we run into problems. Up here, it's a little more rocky, so we've been averaging about 500 if we hit rocky spots. Depending if it stays good ground, not many rocks, we'll probably be up here for about a month, 2 months. So I'm here with the T10 Rival vac truck, pretty unbeatable. What I like most about it though is the reach you have with the truck, the boom. Let's say you're working on the ditch side or somewhere far off the road. The reach would be nice because you don't have to add extra hoses. You have about a 295-degree swing around the whole truck. Say you're working in a ditch and you need locates in the ditch, you can just swing right over. If you need to add extra tubes to go down, you got your extra tubes. I think there's about 20 extra feet there. It's the T10, so it has the extra tank room. Be out on the job for a longer period of time instead of having to run back and forth to dump. The drill just got pulled back here, and obviously he has a mess of bore gel.
So that truck has a mixing unit put into it. So you add water into it, and then it's also got a mixing system that mixes all the bore gels together. We mix with liquids, we mix with powders. It all mixes in that truck, and then we pump it to the drill, and then the drill will pump it with a high pressure pump into the ground. And that'll help form the hole. And then when we're in rockier conditions, we have to use a little bit more chemicals to help hold the rocks up and basically help us get the product back so it's not damaged when we receive it back by the machine.
So the hydrovac comes in and clean up all the bore gel that he brought back. And I will also clean all the mud off, the drill, the rod he uses, and the pulling eyes we use. So it's a lot easier for the guy taking it off. So what he's cleaning off right now would be his squeegees he uses to clean the rods when they're all full of bullet drill. So when we get put back into the rod rack, they're nice and clean. Biggest thing I love is this remote I got here. It runs basically the whole truck. No running back to the truck to move your boom or anything. It's just all ran on the remote right here. Okay, so you're moving to your next job. Time to pack up. You put your tube away, and then you start to make your swing over to put the boom away. This is all ran off my remote here. And as you can see on the boom, there's a little white marker right there. That lets me know when I'm putting it away, kind of how far it is. So when you get close to the truck, you got your box, your storage area, and you got your muffler, exhaust. And yeah, you don't want to hit any of those. And then there's 2 cradles on the truck here. There's your driving cradle when you're on the road, and then when you go to dump the vac truck, there's a cradle to the next of it. You put that in that cradle, and that allows you to lift the tank up. Right now I'm trying to hydrovac for 2 drills to stay ahead of them potholing utilities. And hydrovacing up here is the way to go because it's a faster pace and to stay ahead of the drills in time and stuff. So they're not getting behind. Well, I was gonna have you cross it up there. They're potholing utilities with the vac truck. Obviously you can see we run into some problems. These rocks didn't make it through the tube. This hole took about maybe 5 minutes to hydrovac. Right here, we have some problems. I found the one utility a little off its marks, but there's 2 lines here, and that's another problem you will have. I mean, it's not a big problem, but it's a simple phone call away to kind of have your locator guy come out here, relocate it just to make sure. That's a little too far yet. When it comes to hand digging versus hydrovacing, is you have the huge risk of coming onto the utility and then possibly stabbing it with your shovel. That's the biggest thing. That's why we do it. Main reason for the hydrovac. So as when you get down to it, you can sit there with your water and hover over it, and it will not damage the utility at all. And it's a lot faster to use a hydrovac to get around the rock. It's a lot easier than hand digging too, because nobody likes hand digging. It's a very quick process.
Our bore truck, that's made by Tech. So basically we just connect a hose that allows the truck to pump the fluid to the drill for the actual drilling process. So the funnest part about the day for me is actually mixing the mud. So in the back here, we have our mixing units. Basically, we have 2 tanks. Both of them are 1,000-gallon tanks. These are our chemicals that we use. Our main additive that we use is bentonite. That basically helps keep the hole that we are drilling open. We also have to use other additives in case we get stuff like what we're drilling in today. It's a rock and sand, and then we also have a little bit of clay mixed in too. If it's clay, we use detergents and stuff like that because clay is very sticky when it gets wet. But then we also have to use the lubricants so then it's not harsh on our equipment that we use. We'll turn our pumps on. This is where everything is controlled. So we have all of our lighting, our pressure washer that's up front for helping clean off the bore rig and stuff like that. And then also both of our pumps. Our pumps are electric pumps, so they don't make any noises. We can sit in here and talk and it doesn't bother us at all. So we mix at a pretty high PSI just to help suck that clay and bentonite into the tanks. This is our hopper. This truck was designed in Germany and they usually just mix dry stuff. We're gonna be using wet chemicals and also dry chemicals. So again, this is bentonite. It makes the water want to attach to any of the other chemicals that we already have. It balances the pH of the water to make sure that everything mixes in correctly and it's not clotting up inside that tank. So this is called Packrite. It's a very, very harsh stabilizer, so it'll help hold that hole open even in the toughest situations. It'll hold rocks the size of your fist up inside that hole after it packs it around the outside of the hole. We're not removing anything other than the liquid that comes back out of our hole. We're just packing that wall really, really tight, and that's how directional drilling works. That's why all these chemicals work, is because you're using all of the stuff that's around the drill head that you're pushing through the ground. It packs that hole tight, so then you can pull your product back through. And just depending on which soil type you're in is basically what you use for your mixing. The wet chemicals we'll dump in right in the top of the tank, and this mixing system is so good, it'll mix that entire tank in 10 minutes or so. So we're going to be starting out at like a -28 pitch. That's your pitches are up and down. You steer with the head, so they can have different angles on them. We're drilling in rock, so this has got a pretty steep pitch on the actual bit. I'm running a JT40 today. It's been a really good machine. I really love you can control all your drilling and pushing with one arm. All your rod rack and your jaws are up on the front.
Work nine.
As you heard him say, we use a clock system for how we steer and how we actually drill through the ground. So the 40 that we have set up right now has 15-foot rods on it. Every single time, of course, they're screw-on threads, so you just thread them together. And we have, I believe there's 45 of them in this rack, 9 in each row and 5 rows.
7-11, 7-11. We'll start shaving 7-11.
So this is the cab where we basically do all functions. This runs your entire rod rack and your jaws, which help break your rods loose after they've been torqued up to spec. I have all my gauges on this side. It tells me all my pressures and everything that I need to keep to make sure that I'm not hurting the drill and to make sure that I'm using enough water. Kind of play by ear, but then also it's all planned. So
keep going at 3. Let's work 2 to 4 down. Keep going at 3. Let's work at 2 to 4 down.
So that's basically the process. There's a lot to it, but it's definitely way faster and easier and cheaper to directional drill than to just trench it in. I mean, we'd be ripping up a lot of roads and everything else like that. So definitely the way to go. But that's pretty much it for what we do. I mean, there's a lot more that we can do, but that's pretty much all we're doing for this job. So.